It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. This is the quote wrote by Charles Dickens in A Tale of Two Cities about the innovation and suffering of the Victorian era. And now, in this modern era, gamers everywhere couldn't relate more to this quote with the state of the gaming industry lately. The Big 25 has been a strange year for gaming. We've had some crazy exciting strides in new and existing games. Summerfest gave us a crazy amount of updates to look forward to and updates that came out on the day of Summerfest coming out, like Lies of P DLC dropping. They mentioned DLC for a bunch of other games. And we got a bunch of new release titles coming forward from Summer Game Fest. And we had new announcements on games we've been looking forward to, like GTA 6. And, I know we've been waiting for a while and we got a bunch of release dates, but we finally have a release date for that. And we had new releases come out, like Secret of the Mimic, and looking forward to the VR version of that still to come out. And we had a big stride in the indie game industry. We had Repo come out, and that was a very big success. And we had new Deltarune update, which I love Deltarune and Undertale. Undertale is the entire reason I'm married. It's a long story. And although it didn't come out this year, Balatro winning awards and getting major updates, that being a game that a lot of people love. And even niche games that aren't really mainstream that I play have been getting a lot of updates, like Town of Salem 2, which is a social deduction game I really like, or Death Note Killer Within, which is another social deduction game based off Death Note that I really like. The release of Splitgate 2, the full release of that has been very fun. I'll have a video about that coming out at some point. But that game is very fun to just play and turn your brain off with and just shoot stuff. Actually, there's some gameplay of it on my other video. If you want to go check that out, I talked about Friend Slop. Anyways, we have new consoles coming out. There's the collab between Steam and Xbox and Sony that they're doing, that big merge where you can kind of just play whatever on the new console. And everybody's looking forward to that, console gamer wise. And content creators are eating really good right now with everything coming out. Like, there's a lot of good games to make content on, pretty much endless amounts of content with multiple games in multiple different genres right now. There's the Stop Killing Games initiative, which is focusing on making developers accountable for not killing their games after people have purchased them, which is a great thing because we've had way too many instances of people purchasing a product and then years later developers don't know what to do with it, and then they drop all service for it in their servers. And more on that later in the video too, the Stop Killing Games thing. And I'm just so excited for everything that is to come when it comes to gaming and everything that already has been done. Just all the announcements that have happened. I feel like a lot of games are getting updates. We have a lot of new games to look forward to. There's just a lot of good overall in the gaming industry. And all of that is amazing. But we also have to address the elephant in the room. If you already know about all the strides in the gaming industry, then you most likely also know about the storm to come with it. First, the biggest thing that gamers have been dreading is game pricing. Game prices, just all across the board, have been increasing just pretty much everywhere, but especially in America for reasons I won't get into. But pricing all across the board has been going up, and it first started with Nintendo increasing the prices of their games and their consoles and all the accessories for them. And then Microsoft followed along with their consoles and their games and their accessories. And it seems that pretty much every big gaming producer is now getting more expensive with their games and their accessories and their consoles. And speaking of money, there's greed kind of in all of the games now. Like microtransactions have been very normalized, and big AAA companies kind of care about money more than their users sometimes. Like Ubisoft has been getting a lot of backlash for things like that, and laid off a lot of people, and have been going through a whole slur of things because of their greed and because of everything else that Ubisoft has done. And like Activision, you see with the Black Ops series, there's a lot of transactions in that game that people complain about on the daily when it comes to that. And something that's just along that boat with that is not supporting mod work for the community that actually enjoys the game. There's a lot of those companies will not be open to adding extra content for the community. It's usually not something that the big corporations are up for. They usually strike down on there. And things like battle passes are kind of the normal for big games and for like live service games. And the thing that is crazy that we have now is there's even some games where you can't even play them unless you're on some sort of subscription. Like some games are subscription based. I forget if League is still like that, but I believe it used to be like that. But don't quote me on that because I don't personally play it myself, but I feel like I remember that somewhere. Just spending so much money on your game that is unnecessary. We've kind of gotten out of the spend one price and then keep your game mentality. And that's obviously not a good thing. To go back on the stop killing games thing, the reasons for stop killing games are a bad thing. As I mentioned earlier, creators not wanting to work on their old games anymore and deciding to just shut down the servers and not having any plan long term for their servers or for their game. The reasons that we need that initiative are still happening, and there's a lot of drama around that with a little person called Pirate Software, but I'm not going to get into any of that. But there's that drama as well that did happen in the Big 25. And speaking of gamer drama, there's been a lot of toxicity lately just in the gaming community, I feel. And in like forum posts and stuff, not just in game. There's been a lot of toxicity and just fighting amongst communities, I feel. And it can really ruin a lot of communities, especially competitive communities. They can get very heated and can be a very big turnoff for like new players and just the general player base. Like there's a big argument about friend swap, which I like I said earlier, I made a video about if you want to watch. And tying in with things being about greed, there's certain games, mostly mobile games, so it's not too bad in the normal gaming community. Games being pay to win as well causes a lot of drama and debate and just ruins a lot of balance and anything in the gaming community. Because then you'll have people defending it, people who don't, and it'll always just cause discourse amongst people. There's all these bad habits and things happening in the gaming community right now that are being very normalized and that are kind of just happening, and people are kind of just accepting. Well, not really accepting, just more like can't really do anything about it but voice their opinion. And companies are kind of just, they're fine with it. They are all about normalizing all the greedy tactics and stuff, and are starting to shift focus more in money than actually focused on the community that plays their games. So the era of gaming in 2025 is weird to say the least, because like there's so much cool shit to look forward to, but a lot of the bigger companies are using that to set a precedent that they can price their games whatever they want and people will still buy them regardless. And while some gamers are making multiplayer games miserable just because they're angry by being toxic and, causing discourse, and I'm not to say the ones that are angry at developers and want things fixed, I mean the people being genuinely toxic to teammates and stuff and other people in game when it's unneeded. But this is kind of just like an observation I had, because like as a community we were both thriving but also sinking, and like I don't really know how to feel about it. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like, are gamers in a Victorian era of games, so to speak? Do I have a clue what I'm saying? I don't know. Let me down. Let me. Do I have a clue what I'm saying? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I'll see you when I want to yap again. Bye bye.